Day 21, Montreal. I woke up to sounds of people getting ready for work. The park where I was car camping was adjacent to an apartment complex. How wonderful it was for me to be able to enjoy traveling across the country despite restrictions. The weather was looking incredible, although by now it was a heat wave in this region of Canada. I started off with my daily routine in Montreal by having breakfast at Tim Hortons, hitting the gym, and then having a quick lunch. From there, I decided to continue exploring around the historic center of Montreal. Again, I drove down to Vieux Port de Montreal, parked my beast, and walked around the promenade. I took time to see a clock tower that was built 99 years ago to honor those who were lost at sea. Around the clock tower were a number of cannons facing the ocean, showcasing how the Quebecois were always ready to defend their territory. From there, I walked south on Rue Notre Dame and back up west on Victoria Square Park. Walking away from the historic center of Montreal, I was able to visit Ville Marie, an upscale area of Montreal just south of downtown. Without any major plan in place, I just continued wandering, taking in all the sights and sounds around me. The streets of Montreal were vibrant with all sorts of characters living their stories in real life. It seemed normal to find people yelling at each other about something, someone dressed up in some outlandish outfit, and somebody pushing the boundaries of expression. Downtown Montreal was much more adult-themed than family-friendly Vieux Port de Montreal. I came across several interesting art creations on the streets, some of which appeared to be Aboriginal themed, and then some were more obscure. As the morning turned into afternoon, the heat and humidity set in. I was shirtless by now, trying to stay cool and making the most use of the cooling stations located throughout the city. Heading north, I walked through Place des Arts and the Place des Festivals, located just beside the University of Quebec. This was a really cool area with people enjoying the Montreal summer in a hip environment. There seemed to be an Aboriginal venue at the time with historic structures in place, as well as drummers performing for the public. A tradition of Aboriginal storytelling was also available for younger generations, which I considered visiting, but the heat led me to decide to continue exploring. I headed north on St. Catherine Street and passed by a really cool looking venue, Foufounes Electriques. It seemed that this was a gateway into a punk emo alternative area of Montreal. I discovered that I was entering the Quartier des Spectacles area. I explored this area, from where I found myself surrounded by what appeared to be up-and-coming artists. No corner of Montreal was dull or boring, and by this point I was saturated by heat, humidity, history, and real-life characters. It was time for me to have a well-deserved dinner and head back down to Vieux Port de Montreal. I sat by the Grande Roue de Montreal enjoying my dinner as the sun began to set. I asked myself, could I ever live life here in Montreal? Without hesitation, my answer was yes. From there, I headed back to my beast, back to Parc Clementine de la Rousseliere for the evening. As I settled in for the night, I knew that in the future I would not hesitate to call Montreal my home.
Subscribe to the Travel Experience, Expérience de Voyage channel. Tap the bell and join the conversation on the comment section below.